All right, I'm Andy Smith. I'm the chair of the Coney County Conservation Bank Board here for our September 5th meeting. Everybody is here except for
Ryan.
Ryan, okay. Ryan got in touch with me yesterday, asked if we're having a meeting. I told him yeah. First thing on the agenda is approval of minutes from August 8th, 2023. We have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Okay, all right, and let's, speak up when we make a motion. We have a second?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Treasurer's report, Taylor.
All right, we'll start with the local government investment pool. We had this is for the period ending of July 31st, 2023. We had an opening balance of $365,687.03. Reinvestment of $1,684.43. Balance in account as of ending period date is $367,371.46. And then for the Community First Bank account for the period ending July 31st, 2023, we had a month opening balance of $480 and then a closing balance of $480.
We have a motion to approve the treasurer's report. All right, second? Second. Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, number four on the agenda is the fundraising and public relations report. We talked last meeting about our communication with Andrea Cooper from the Upstate Forever. I communicated with her. We were hoping to have a meeting with her, but she wasn't available in between that time and this meeting due to her schedule, my schedule. So don't really have anything to report from that, except we were trying to communicate with her about the potential for funding from the relicensing of the Duke power plant. But we'll just have to continue trying to communicate and investigate on that. Anybody else have anything for fundraising or public relations?
One thing I wanted to ask about, and seeing these name tags kind of jarred my mind. Several of us go to events you're involved with the Chattooga. I know you're involved with stuff. And Ryan, you were talking about going to some things at Kiwi Key. And I got invited to go to the folks meeting. And I don't know if we have considered name tags or some way to not promote ourselves, but promote our cause. I don't know, I'm just gonna throw that out there. If that's even something that's the county would allow, just a little, Oconee County Conservation Bank Board, and then people would be like, oh, what's that? Or what's your involvement? So, I don't know, just throwing it out there for something to think about. If we really wanna try to get our name out there and who we are and what we do, and, I went to a talk with Tim Lee at the brewery about a month ago, and I was thinking that would be a great place to these are all people that were like-minded to kind of spread the word.
I went to a landowner event at Raleigh West's father's farm here in Oconee County, and they would have really come in handy then, because we just had magic marker name tags, but I noticed Upstate Forever and some of the other folks had what you're talking about, and it is nice if we have something we're attending where
And it doesn't necessarily mean we're there in an official capacity, but it's just a way to identify.
Get folks talking about it.
Yeah, or asking, what is that?
Is the issue would the issue be that the county doesn't want to give money to something like that? And if so, couldn't we just kind of pool our money? I wouldn't think it'd be too expensive to get name tags.
You don't have any opinion about that, do you?
I can ask. I will have to ask.
Okay.
So let me email someone and then I'll let you guys know.
Okay.
That be okay?
I think it's a reasonable idea. Any other thoughts?
I think that's a good idea.
All right. Grant status, next on there. Scuddy, you have anything to report?
Have not been notified of any changes, so I'll say no,
Okay.
no changes.
I think we're all aware that the money finally came through and got deposited for the Whetstone Hill property from the Natureland Trust. And that was the only outstanding grant, project. So that's done. Discussion items, I don't have anything on my agenda for that. Anybody have anything? I guess, yes, ma'am?
I did want to let you know that both of those policies have been posted on our webpage.
Okay, thank you very much, Jennifer. So fundraising committees, you, Emlyn, and Ryan, and myself, we should probably set up another meeting to talk about that.
Okay, good.
How we want to go forward.
Can I make?
Yes, sir.
I do have something I wanted to bring up to the group. Raleigh West with the South Carolina Land Bank and Upstate Forever last year on 2 occasions, asked me to try to get together a landowner event, primarily in the Highway 11, Highway 24 corridor with the kind of farming community. And several of which I'm either related or family friends with, and I kind of was like, yeah, I'd love to do it, and as long as they were willing to provide good food and, just kind of a, sort of a question and answer get together with people that own property in the area where there is a lot of growth projected, and, I didn't even get to first base with it. And it's, part of it is, I'm bringing it up because I think it needs to be more than me just like trying to talk to people, although I'm totally willing to do it. But just passing it along, I think they would still love to do it. And it would also be in conjunction with Oconee Soil and Water, like I said, South Carolina Land Bank and Upstate Forever.
I know Oconee Forever, kind of that volunteer group that was associated with Upstate Forever. They did several landowner events, even had a speaker. I think Frank Holloman was a speaker at one time.
Yeah.
One of those. That kind of idea.
Mm-hmm.
Is it for people that have conservation easements? Or?
No.
Okay.
It's for people to learn about conservation easements, primarily. The point I got through to them, and Scotty, you could maybe add something to this, is like 90% of, if you get into where our farm is located, like an overwhelming majority of the larger landowners are kind of older and have family members that I see selling if something happens to them. Because acreage now in Oconee County it's skyrocketed. Like 2.5 times what it would sell for 3 years ago. It's crazy, really, it is crazy. So, as a means to, I guess, in an attempt to try to encourage people to consider doing a conservation easement and what the benefits of that could be, especially because I think that a lot of the older farming community really does hold the land kind of near and dear. There is a real connection to it, and memories, and just it's more than like a house. It's goes back generations. So,
Well, what do you think? You think this is something that we should try to do?
I do. What they had proposed was possibly trying to do something like at Bethel Baptist Church out there in Oakway. And they have a pretty nice detached building. It's a social hall with a kitchen. And who's the gentleman with Oconee Soil and Water? Is it Jason?
Yeah.
Okay, he cooks. He has like a food truck. He does like catering and stuff. So the point I'm getting at is that was what they had proposed, to have him come and like fix food. And I kind of in passing said, well, if you give free food, I can give you a crowd. That's one thing about folks out there at the Cattleman Center. I mean, you can get them together if you got the food. So I don't know if we as a group can be there in more than 3 though, right? There can only be,
Well,
can we attend? I mean, what if all of us want, I mean, isn't there,
that's a good question. I think we can attend, as long as we don't talk business. But that's a good, I'll ask David Root about that.
but I think fall would be a good time if we could maybe figure a date that I could propose, and then just, if, maybe I can come, I can talk to the Soil and Water, to Jay, because, but I didn't want to be the only one trying to work on it when it could be something you guys might have interest in trying to be a part of.
Well, as the Conservation Bank Board, what do we think about? I mean, do we want to vote to go ahead and do that? I mean, do you think, our next meeting's November, I believe, right?
I think it's a good idea, and again, we're not promoting ourselves, we're just sharing information and working with these people who are, that's their job. I mean, they're in place to do exactly what we're supporting. So it's a show of support. If anything else, it's a show of support from us.
Yeah, I mean, I have a relative, Peggy Moore, that lives right there, who did a conservation easement that we were involved with, and I'm sure she'd be willing to come and say a few words and, talk about why they chose to do what they did. And, but I think it's a fairly critical time, because I see, I mean, we had a farmer who passed away last year, Mike King. They're already selling parts of that farm. I mean, it's.
And I've heard similar things about that, the few remaining apple orchards that we have, that
Exact same.
some of those are getting near the end of the owners, wanting to do it anymore. And I've talked to folks with the Conservancy about, what can be done about that. I'm actually gonna meet with Conservancy folks this week to talk about going forward. And they were talking about having some kind of appreciation dinner for growers, for apple growers, like at the Long Creek Community Center. So it's kind of the same sort of vein. Well, I mean, do you think that's, Ryan, that's something that would be done before our next meeting, or?
Let me, that would probably be a tall order, I'm guessing.
Okay.
I mean, they've brought it up when I'm around them more than once, and I know that I know it's on their mind, and I know they want to try to do it. And they were very much encouraging me to, try to, come up with a way to get people together.
Well, I guess I will move that we authorize you to talk about that and to plan on it, and to make plans to go forward with it. If you if you can work
One
that
idea
out.
might be to find out when the next cattlemen's meeting is. Find out that date and basically say, we will provide the food and
Good idea.
hope to kind of attend, and this is a time to sort of maybe have some question and answer about what conservation easements and our farms, because they meet. I mean, I don't know if it's once a month, but they get together and do dinner and usually have a speaker.
Well, that sounds like a good venue, good place to do it. So why don't you do that? Why don't you
Okay.
just pursue that idea, and as it forms up and becomes something concrete, we can move to go forward with it.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Does anybody know what Jason's last name is?
Do you know Jennifer? I don't. No. But if I can get it, you want me to send it to you?
I can Google it, I just was
Okay,
curious.
all right.
I don't know him. I know Eddie, but don't know. Jackson.
Any other discussion items? Oh, and I will say, Jennifer contacted me, and since we didn't have anything outside our normal format on the agenda, queried me on whether we should even have the meeting or not. And I told her, no, let's go ahead. But, and one, I didn't want to do that without us having talked about whether we want to, if that would be okay in the future, to not have a meeting if there wasn't anything, more than the, essentially the treasurer's report and pass, approving the minutes. Any thoughts about that? If I sent y'all, if Jennifer sent y'all a notice and said, we're not gonna have a meeting because there's nothing new on the agenda, would y'all be upset individually?
I wouldn't be upset, then I have a question though, then, that is, we've published a meeting
Exactly.
schedule.
That's right.
Can we
Yes.
just eliminate a meeting without?
You can cancel, I have to post a notice on the board, and if I know, far enough ahead of time, I can post it in the paper as well.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Yeah, that was one of my concerns too, because the public's thinking, somebody could show
Well,
up and say,
yeah.
well, where are you?
It's posted on the website, it's posted on our board out here, and if time allows, I can get it in the paper.
Okay, all right, okay. Any thoughts about that?
I think it's a great idea. My concern would be, let's just say we have, a 6 to 8 month lull where nothing's happening. We don't meet for that long.
Right,
I worry it starts kind of dissolving away,
right.
kind of the group. So maybe we have a certain mandatory minimum amount of meetings that you have to have in a 12-month period of time. Doesn't have to be every month, but you gotta have at least 3 meetings, whatever.
I think our ordinance may address how many meetings we
I
have to have.
think it does.
And we have more than what's required, I believe.
I'll have to look and see back at the ordinance and see what it requires.
Okay. Well, and I knew this would be a short one, and people wouldn't be aggravated about that, I didn't think. Any more discussion items? We have a motion to adjourn?
Did we vote on the motion to?
No, it's still kind of in discussion
about
stage.
About
what?
your meeting, about supporting the Kellerman's thing.
No, it was more of a direction to let's investigate it, and that
Okay.
seems like a potentially
Yeah.
good venue, once we kind of figure out when and where we could do that.
Who should I email, or should I email the group and just say, hey, this is the next time? they
Not the
meet?
group, you'd have to send it to Jennifer and she could send that notice out.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
A second.
All in favor?
All right.
Okay.
See, I did have a part in this meeting.